Hey, what's up, guys? Jake here with another episode of On the Rise Music Podcast. Today, we are honored to a special guest, DJ and producer, Kalipzo. Huge fan of the music. How you doing?
Great, great. It's good to talk to you. I've just been stuck in my studio for the past 3 months, so it's nice to see some new faces.
Honestly, I totally agree. I'm sure you. You dropped a recent single. It was Trippy 666. So I'm sure being in being just in the studio for the 3 months, you made some great things, and I'm really excited, and I'm sure the fans are really excited to see what you have coming moving forward, coming out of this, and just moving forward in the next couple of months. So.
Funny thing about that song, actually, because of this pandemic, I was like beginning to think like this might be my last track for a while. And then it came out, and then it actually got some of the best like responses that I've ever had when it comes to putting out a track. And so I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll set up something for this month then. But I had completely like just been like, I guess I'm just gonna have to start looking for another job because I'm just gonna have to start, doing something else. But I'm glad this last song just kind of showed me like, all right, I'll stay in the game a little bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, you have a talent for it. You have a knack for it. What's a couple more months when everyone's at home? Just keep putting to it, putting time into it, and perfecting your craft. And I mean, it showed. It showed on that last track, and it's really funny because I'm not typically a huge fan of electronic music. I respect it and everything, like house and everything. Like, as a matter of fact, my roommate put me on to house.
Nice.
And pulled up your song and everything, was listening to it, and I was like, yeah, this goes. This is it right here. Getting into it a little bit, when was there, or when was what was the point when you were like, yo, I really love house music. I really love like this bouncy house music. I want to start producing it.
It started about 2 years ago when I had just come back from Berkeley because I used to go to UC Berkeley for college.
Oh, no
And
way. Okay.
yeah, I left school because I was like, this is not working out for me. I want to go pursue my dreams. But I landed back in LA and I had no connections out there. So I ended up just saying yes to a gig that a friend had offered me. And through that gig, I ended up meeting this group of DJs that ended up showing me bass house, and I'm like, whoa, like this kind of house exists because it like mixes this kind of like four on the floor disco-y,
Mm-hmm.
like old school housey vibe with like newer sounds. And I had no idea that that was possible or that was a thing that would be popular. And I was like, okay, because before that I was into more dubstep, and that was the point like when I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go with house.
Okay. Yeah, that's it like touching on that fact, how you said you dropped out of college and just moved down to LA. A lot of people don't realize that, like, in an industry like music and just like in anything in entertainment, you do have to know people. Like if
Oh
you, but also another point on top of that is that you can just do it. Like you don't really have, like, you could also know nobody and just try to learn and take small like little lessons, like YouTube, whatever it may be, or even like production classes, and that's your in. Like, if
yeah.
you're determined to do it, like, I mean, like, you're doing it on your, like you said, you kind of just met a group of people doing it, and there you go. Like you learn a different perspective. um, you start learning new things, and you learn stuff about yourself too, and that helps push your music that much further. And I'm sure that was a great defining moment too, and pushing your career to where it is today.
It was. And I'd like to add, in no way was I like, did I feel that I was ready? But there was something in me that said that you just have to say yes. So to everyone out there that like wants to jump into entertainment or anything really, like maybe don't always wait until you feel ready. Maybe like just kind of just jump in and just start doing it.
Yeah, totally. I really agree with that point. You have to, even if you are hesitant about it, like, if you believe in what you're going to do, and you really trust that you're going to get to where you want to be, and you have steps, or even if you're just like, I just want to do it, and I don't really have any way, like, I don't have any plan or anything, but I know I want to do it, and I'm really passionate about it. Like, it's going to get done. Like, if you
Yeah.
really want it to get done, it's going to get done. So I mean, that's really good that you realized it when you were in college, and it didn't come later. And you realized like, hey, I like school isn't for everybody. I'm going to be very honest. I've had a couple
Oh
friends
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that are, it's just difficult for them, and they're just like, I'd rather do like I have a friend of mine who's trying to be a professional weightlifter, and he's like school just isn't for me. And it's just like, I respect that. Like if you are driven, you have a drive, and you have a plan to get to where you want to be, who says you need to, who says you need to do school at that moment? Like come back, figure it out, like at the end,
Right.
and eventually everything will work out. So yeah, I
Exactly.
totally agree with that.
School will always be there to go back to.
Oh, totally, totally. Yeah, that's totally true. An institution's not going to go anywhere, but your opportunity to
Yeah,
make music may only happen in like a small time frame. So take
exactly.
advantage of what you have, and when you feel that motivation, just do it.
Yeah.
Um, so like building off that point that you like just kind of dropped college, what did your parents say, and like how are they like in the beginning of this?
They were a little hesitant. I was an overachiever as a child. They thought that like I was gonna go be this doctor, but in high school I started producing, and I was like, I want to go more in the arts, and they're like, well, maybe you'll be a journalist, and I'm just like, all right, I guess it's kind of like an art, like writing, right? But as I started to, pursue my higher education, like I realized that um, there was something missing. There was something like very wrong in the sense that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. And, I felt that you only get, a certain amount of time to pursue these things in your life where you have the leverage to put your full attention to it. And I was like, I'm gonna go and pursue my dream then, and I'm gonna take the time to figure out like, can I do this or can't I? And there's been ups and downs, but I just finished another down on my way back up, and it's the best decision I've ever made. I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm far more happy than I was a few years ago. And a lot of my friends in the past who were like, a little bit sketchy about it as well. Even like today, they're like, wow, you actually like, you went out and did it. Like I ended up playing Lost Lands last year. Like it's possible, man.
Oh, totally. Yeah. If I mean, like we were talking earlier, if you have a plan, and you really are driven, like who's to tell you you
Yeah.
can't do something? And that's one thing that I've like noticed within the last couple of like months, maybe over the past year, kind of. That like if you really want something and you're really driven to do it, like you're gonna get it done, and
Yeah.
you're not gonna do it on anyone else's terms but your own terms. And that's honestly the best reason to do something, is because
Yes.
you want to do it. And yeah, don't like, this is just a message to everybody. If you don't want to go to school, you like, oh, after high school, like definitely graduate high
Yes.
school, yeah.
Of course.
But like if you feel like you have potential and a passion to do something, don't feel like you have to go to school, because like you said, it'll always be, always do online class. You can always do online classes, one class here, one class there, and always like
Yeah.
work towards that degree. But you could do it you put it on the back burner, and come back to it. But yeah, take advantage of the moment you have in front of you, seize it, and don't like, with that you won't have any regrets, to be completely honest. So
Yep. Exactly. It'll be worth it. Trust.
oh, definitely. Now you mentioned that you actually were at you said Lost Lands 2019.
Yes, I was. That was my first festival, actually, too. Before that, I had mainly played at the Avalon, and I played Space Yacht at one time, and that was fun. And also at Exchange, and then a bunch of smaller clubs in Hollywood. It was like a good year of me just playing at dive bars also before this, too. And then even before that in college, like playing at frat parties and high school parties and stuff like that. But yeah, Lost Lands was like my first real big kind of festival. And I almost threw up before I went on stage. Like for the
Oh,
first time, I used to never have stage fright. It was only like before Lost Lands, and I ended up killing it. I don't remember anything in the set. I completely blacked out. But looking back, I killed it, and I got some fans from that set. So very, very proud of that.
yeah, that's that. I mean, you were in the zone. Like you just
Yeah.
like athletes, and just like people that just kind of like zone in and everything, like that's what happened. You were just like, this is it, this is my moment, I'm gonna go grab it. I mean,
Great.
that's crazy, like to just experience that. Now how exactly did that come about?
Lost Lands contacted me on Facebook. They didn't at the
Okay.
time. I had a manager, and they didn't go through him. I guess were looking through just charts of Bass House, and for the for last year, I was charting pretty high, almost up to like 80,000 like listeners a month. So I was like
Wow.
guarding
Okay.
some speed, and so they're like, hey, like one of our artists dropped out last minute, like would you like to be on the lineup? And I'm like, yes, like replying like within an hour. And yeah, that's I have no idea other than that how they could have found me, but it was one of those moments where someone I guess couldn't be there, and I had that open opportunity, and I just went for it again, feeling like, am I ready for this? I don't know, but still saying yes.
Yeah, that's huge, man. And I'm pretty sure that you got that message and you were just like, oh, what how do you know about me? Like that must have been kind of
Yeah,
like an awakening moment. That, I mean, even then, that's just like a moment where you're like, wow, I guess I really am doing something big. Like,
yeah,
a lot of times, I mean, even I've experienced it, and I'm not making music or producing stuff, but there's times when you're doing something and you don't realize that you're actually doing well. You're just kind of like
yeah.
grinding it out and just putting stuff on, and like for school, for example, like there'll be times where I'm just like, dude, I don't know if this is crazy. Like I'm just killing myself, like trying to like keep up with everything. And all of a sudden you get a grade back and you're like, oh damn, I guess I am doing well. Or someone points you out. So that must have been an amazing moment to just be there and be like, wow, I'm really making something. And these people reached out to me. Like you didn't like the crazy part is that you said that they reached out to you. So they must have seen like they must have known that you were obviously making waves.
Yeah, I think what probably also helped me was I have released a few tracks with F Word, and he also reached out to me as well. And the one of the live mixes that I did for him, I ended up garnering a lot of fans from that as well. So I'm wondering if someone listened to that mix and then probably thought that I was okay to be allowed to stage at Lost Lands. I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that just goes to show you that being collaborative and open to other people, just like
Yes.
working with you is a huge I guess plus, especially when you're trying to
Oh
just get your
yes.
name out there. Now is there like a process that you go when or go to when it comes to trying to collaborate with people, or are you just open to anybody just reaching out and just hitting like DMing you or whatever?
I'm open to anyone DMing me because I like to keep my options open, but I do like to check out their music just to make sure that we're kind of in the same kind of swing in terms of like what we would want. So that
Of
I
course.
like to set expectations like prior to starting the projects, just so that, I'm not bringing them something that they don't know how to work with and vice versa. And then, yeah, I usually like to do my research before jumping in. But once we're in there, I like to make sure things are as comfortable as possible. I don't put a lot of pressure on people. Like the art process will take as long as it needs to, unless we
Mhm.
do have like a time limit. But I usually like to just let people flow once we're there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you have somebody that is sure about themselves and is definitely sure about their sound,
Yeah.
it's obviously going to sound organic. And especially if you, like you said, you want to keep it easy, you want to keep it flowing, because yeah, you can't like, to an extent, you can't put a time limit on music, and you can't put like, I mean, yes, you can put deadlines, but it has to come naturally. If you force it
Yes.
and try to put
Yeah.
stuff out, then it's just going to sound like it's not going to sound that good. It just sounds forced. And that mentality that you have and collaborating with people is a great thing to I mean have in a business where you're working with people and you're hearing different opinions and trying to please
Yeah.
people. I mean, to an extent, I'm pretty sure you're just like, this is my music and this is my sound, and I'm pretty happy with it. So take it how
Right.
you want.
Right. Anything that I bring to people, it's because I think that it's good. I leave my ego at the door. I always like say what's best for the song is what's best for the song, but I'll do my best that we don't release something that I personally think sounds terrible. So kind of have to
Yeah.
balance it that way.
Oh, I totally. It makes
Mhm.
total sense. Now, when you were growing up, did you have much of a music background, or was it just something that you kind of gained as you listened and grew up to more like EDM and just house music?
I grew up with headphones on my head all the time, man. I took piano lessons when I was very, very young, like first grade, and then stopped for a little bit because my parents wanted me to focus more on horseback riding at the time. So, but I missed it, and I ended up picking it back up in high school and taking piano there, and then also started production lessons in high school because my friend Jackie Nelson, who is a Billboard charting artist now, her parents ran a music school, and they had music production lessons there, and that's when I started to take my first music production lessons and was lucky enough to even have that resource. And I remember after the first lesson driving home being like 16, being like, yep, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to find a way to tell it to my parents at some time down the road, but for now I know in my heart this is what Audrey, back then before Kalipzo, this is what Audrey was going to be.
Yeah, so it obviously comes pretty easy to you. I mean, granted, because you did all the lessons in when you were younger.
Yes, definitely.
So that I'm pretty sure that helped. That's honestly like crazy that you had a friend whose parents were running like this, so totally coincidental,
Very
and that just
lucky.
pushed you.
Yeah, very, very lucky in that regard. And to anyone who's like listening to this and thinks like, oh, she started young, I can't, like, do not think that. I know people who have started way later than me
Mhm.
that are better than me. So it's all about the time that you put in. I definitely learn more now as a 26-year-old than I did as a 16-year-old because I can sit down and be patient and actually go through
Mhm.
things instead of just being stubborn and like, I'm going to press buttons until something sounds right.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, as you get older, you get more patient, and you don't,
Definitely.
especially when you're like 16 as just like a kid, you're kind of, you want results immediately. So
Mhm.
it like you have to take that time to step back, especially when you're older and you're like, oh, okay, this lesson that I learned back then, it wasn't making sense, but now that I'm looking at it, maybe with a couple more years of experience and producing, I see how it works, and I see how I can manipulate this a little differently and understand it. So but yeah, that early age lessons and I guess knowledge of music and production, definitely, I mean, it shows it. You could see it in the music you're coming out with. It's great. It's bouncy. It makes me want to move, and like I was reading your bio on Spotify, and that's what it said, is like eventually you're gonna start moving, like whether you want to or not. And that's a great explanation for your music. um
If you
Now,
can't dance to it, you can't put it out. It's my number one rule.
exactly. Oh,
Gotta
that's
be groove.
exactly. There you go. Now, do you purposely come out with music that you want people to just? Because I noticed a lot of music has like the same kind of like upbeat and just like flowy, like
Mhm.
type of vibes. Are you going for that? Is that like your signature taste, or are you just kind of like you just found that and you're like, this works for me?
Yeah, I would say right now, every time I sit down, I tend to produce something upbeat or aggressive. And I
Mm.
don't know why. Maybe one day I'll like calm down a bit, but I mean, I do want to look into other styles of music because I don't want to be so one dimensional as much as I do love like the upbeat kind of bouncy stuff. I have other emotions and I want to be able to show that and take people into different places. So definitely within the near future, I have kind of like an idea of like a small EP that's going to be based off of kind of like different stages in my life. And so have each song represent like these different stages, like growing for me out of depression and into happiness, or
Mhm.
not happiness, but contentment,
Yeah,
I'd
that
say.
makes
Yeah.
sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, I've spoken to many people about wanting to change up their sound and everything, and you mentioning that like you constantly have, you have different moods. It's not just one singular mood.
Right.
That
Right.
makes total sense. Like we're human. Like we experience different things, and to want to switch up your music like that, like who knows, you may be able to expand your audience base that way, because someone could be like, they hear it and they relate to it because they're like, oh wow, this, like the story that you're telling in this song is something that I've experienced, but I just have never heard a sound like this from this artist, or from whatever it may be. So
Right.
yeah, wanting to switch up your style, not pigeonholing yourself is is a great way to go about it, because you allow yourself to be open to a bunch of different inspiration and different sounds, and you allow yourself to grow as an artist completely. So
Definitely, definitely.
now, is there anything that we have coming in the future? Are you working on anything right now, or you're kind of like you said, you wanted to just take a break?
Yeah, actually, now I've revived all my old projects. I have 3 new songs that I'm finishing up now that I'll have ready to go and out either by the end of this month or the beginning of next month. And they're kind of on the same vibes as Trippy 666 in terms of like the sound, but some of them go a little bit darker and a little bit cooler. And others have that bouncy, like feel good vibe as well. But I'm also I've been looking into maybe adding some D&B elements, but we'll see. I won't force anything that doesn't sound right. But yeah, that's what we have to look forward to for the near future.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going off that Trippy 666 vibe, I'm pretty excited.
All right, all
I'm a
right.
huge
That's good
fan of
to
that
hear.
song. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, that's great that you mentioned you coming back to older projects. Like we said earlier, like sometimes you gotta take a break and you gotta just look at it in a different light, especially when,
Oh,
who knows, like 2 months older. I mean, technically every second you grow, so 2 months older, you look back and you're like, oh, I didn't know that I was doing this. Mix it up, switch it up a little bit, or you learn something new. Um,
exactly.
now, now, are these projects that you're working on, like is it like a lot older, that like a lot longer ago that you started these, or are these like more recent that you just kind of took a break from?
There's one song that is a year old that everyone loves that I have to get out. I have been harboring it way too long. I've been trying to perfect it, and I realized, you know what? If everyone else says it's finished and I'm the only one arguing it, then there's something going on.
Hmm.
Maybe I should just put that out. So that's the one that I'm going to put out first. The other ones are more recent, like 2 months ago, prior to like where we are in
Hmm.
the pandemic, because for a moment there I started freaking out and I was like, what should I do for money? Yeah. um but yeah, now I'm going back to those with a clear mind, and I love coming back to these projects because I have a fresh ears and a
Oh,
fresh mind,
definitely.
and things tend to fall into place a lot easier when you like taking a second step back from them. Not saying it has to be 2 months, but your breaks
Hmm.
definitely do help. And yeah, so we should be those songs should be out definitely by next month, mid next month. There we go.
Okay, yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm sure the fans are excited for that, and everyone here is pretty excited for that.
I can't wait.
Yeah, but that's an interesting point that you made. That you have one song that you've been sitting on for about a year, and how
Yeah,
everyone else like fucks with it, but you're the only person that's like, no, I feel like I can do better.
right.
I'm a huge fan of fashion, and I want to start my own brand and designing and everything. And there's like, I feel like there's like one piece that I've been working on for about like a month and a half, 2 months almost, literally. And it's just like, I know what I can do and I know what I'm capable of, and I just don't feel like I ever fully like I'll work on it for like a week. I'll take a break for like a couple of days. I look at it again and I'm like, damn, this could be fixed. It's like a bunch of different things,
Right, right.
and everyone's just like, no, dude, it's like it's hard. Like just leave it as it is, get it ready to get made and everything. And it's just like, I don't know. Like I know I feel it that it can be better, but sometimes, yeah, you can't overthink it too much. You just got to produce, you just got to make, you just got to create, and just have confidence, because that's what I was realizing too. It's like it's your work. Like even if it doesn't feel ready, like you said, even when you don't feel ready, you just kind of gotta
Good point.
go for it, lean into it, and
Right.
go for it. And I honestly, I feel like there's a lot of people that feel like that just in life in general. Just gotta lean into it, and it's a scary thing. Don't get me wrong; it's really fucking scary when you don't know what's going to happen, or you don't know the outcome of putting yourself out there and trying out new things. But when you learn and break your comfort zone, it's probably one of the best experiences of life in general. So
Yeah. What's that? For me, the advice you give is the advice you're trying to give to yourself. I swear, I do this all the time. I'll say things and like be like, "Be yourself, go for it." And it's like I need to be myself. I
exactly.
need to go for it. I need to let myself shine. Be that example, for sure.
Yeah. It's it's really interesting, that people don't really understand that it's that simple. Like you just kind of have to step out, take a step back, and view it in different eyes. I mean, yeah, music is definitely a great way of just expressing that. I mean, like you said, sometimes you're too hard on yourselves, but in the end, it's music. Like it's fun. It's supposed to be something that brings you joy. And yeah, don't take anything too serious. I understand it's a business, and you are running it like a business and everything, and you're doing your thing. And shout out to you, like you're really perfecting it. But yeah, in the end, it's supposed to be fun. Like you wanted to do this. This is a dream of yours. So yeah, it
Exactly.
shouldn't be like you're putting too much effort because you've done it for so long and you're constantly learning every day. And honestly, I mean, you're doing it correctly, and you're following
Thank you.
you're following your heart and doing your thing. So shout out to you, and more power to you. So
Appreciate it.
yeah, of course. Us at On the Rise, and I'm pretty sure the fans are looking forward to all the music you got coming up. So
I can't wait to give you guys everything that I have so far. Everything that I do is for the fans, and I'm just so excited to continue this journey with everyone.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I could sit here and I could chop it up with you all day. I know you're a busy person.
No worries.
You've got some music to attend to. You got some songs to develop. But I want to ask you one more question. It's like a two-part question. So what is one bit of advice that you would tell either a younger you or like a upcoming artist? And
Mhm.
follow up, is there anybody that you're listening to right now, like a upcoming artist or someone that you just want to give credit to, and you just want to shout them out? You're more than welcome to.
First, I'll shout out Jackie Nelson, the homegirl since fourth grade, and also is now, like I said before, charting Billboard. Just got one of her songs in a movie, and
Oh
it's just
wow.
doing amazing right now. Check her out, Jaki, and then Nelson, Nelson. She's amazing. She does a lot for other women in this industry, and she's just definitely one to look out for. Now, as for advice, I would give my younger self or an up and coming artist. Um, hmm, I would have to say this is kind of on the edgier side. No one will care about your business more than you. So don't expect everyone to be on the same page or on the same hype in terms of taking care of your business. Make sure
Hmm.
you know the ins and outs. Make sure you read contracts before you sign them. And just always kind of have an idea of where the next step should be, and don't rely on others to kind of make those decisions for you, because it'll end up you want your product to be, or your music rather, to be you and something that you can live with, and something that's people are going to see you as.
Hmm.
So make sure that that's how you want to be seen, or how you really are.
Yeah, I mean, I could not have said it any better than that. You summed it up perfectly. Actually, one question did pop into my head when you mentioned about the your friend making waves for women, and I don't know why I didn't think about this earlier, but like how is being a woman in like the production game, in the house game, how has that like affected, or even just like influenced like
Yeah.
the music you come out with, and the direction you're going with for production?
So that's probably why I make so aggressive and upbeat music. I feel like there's this stereotype that female DJs and women DJs go for softer things or go for kind of chiller vibes, but I like people like Whipped Cream and people like Rez are kind of like my inspiration, where it's like, no, we can be just as dirty and dangerous and cool too.
Hmm.
So that's probably why I go towards house. As far as being a woman in the industry, I would say when it comes to getting paid, make sure that you're getting paid the same amount, or the correct amount that you should. There have been some cases in LA where venues will pay women less because they don't ask, like they don't question anything, or they
Hmm.
don't. It's seen as putting up a fight, right? When it's really just
Yeah,
asking
you're
for
just
what you're
asking for what
worth.
you deserve.
Uh, yeah, so I would say don't, ask for what you're worth, be able to stand up for yourself, not in like an over aggressive way, but just simply by asking and, you know, showing people that you are aware, that tends to break down any like walls of BS that they have, and it you know, can help in that sense. So I would say, yeah, as a woman in the industry, I've learned to be assertive in
Mhm.
my own way, just in setting my boundaries as well. With music, tip for the ladies out there: if he hasn't heard any of your music and wants to collab, just be a little bit wary. Make sure, you know, ask questions. Be like, why do you want to do this? What do you have in mind? So that you don't waste your time.
Definitely.
So yeah.
I mean, you're making waves. I'm a huge fan. I got two sisters, and I have a very, I'm a middle child, so I have an older sister and a younger sister, and my mom has just been very, very integral and a very strong female like role model in my life. So you doing what you're doing and breaking down doors is huge, and I support you 100%. We at On the Rise support you, and
Thank you.
yeah, you're making waves, and you're yeah you don't like yeah what you said don't follow stereotypes. Like if that's not how you feel, why are you going to do it? Like
Right.
break it, be who you are, show that there's not a single mold for female producers and DJs. Just be like, why can't I just be myself and just make music? Because in the end, like you're you, no one can tell you, even if you're supposed to fit a mold, like nah, like that's not who I am. Like this is who I am. I'm gonna make my music. I'm gonna do a lot more aggressive just because like that's me. So, um,
Exactly.
yeah, I want to thank you, and it's time to wrap it up. But
Thanks.
I want to thank you, Calypso. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for chopping it up with me for a little bit. I really
Of course.
appreciate it, and we're excited for what you got. Us at on the rise, and all our fans moving forward. So guys, don't forget to check out Calypso on Instagram. That is at it's Calypso, all one, lowercase. Don't forget to check out her new single, Trippy 666. And last but not least, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for upcoming YouTube videos. Peace out, you guys.